Donald Trump's cabinet secretaries are in constant competition to prove that they are the worst at their job. And today, RFK Jr. got his chance to prove that he's number one in the worst possible category. And he got some help from AOC, who was ripping into him for not just the corruption, not just the incompetence, but the criminality that he has engaged in during Donald Trump's administration. And it left RFK Jr. scrambling, screaming, and melting down. We're going to get into it all. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way supporting the independent journalism we do here. Now let's take a look at AOC ripping into RFK Jr.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Secretary Kennedy, for being here today. It's actually not our first time meeting. We met a very, very long time ago when I was 9 years old in Westchester Putnam County at a Riverkeeper event. And I remember back then you talking about the importance of science and environmental action at that time. Listening to a lot of your discussion and a lot of the messages that you provide to people, you talk a lot about corporate influence and corruption in government. And this is an area that's very important to me, and it's an area that I do a lot of work in. I am, as a public servant, completely financially divested of any conflicts of interest with any healthcare companies, any stocks, any lawsuits that I would financially benefit from. Are you?
Yes.
You're completely divested?
Yes.
You have no financial interest in any lawsuit, crypto, none of that?
No. Oh, okay. Crypto? I own Bitcoin.
Okay. And do you have any other securities or assets?
I don't. I mean, I had to go through this with the Office of Government Ethics, and I had a few interests that were very minor that I divested.
Okay, just checking. I'd always like to.
Oh, it's a good question.
I always like to know what the field is before I enter conversations. So thank you for that. In the healthcare space, something that we've both spoken to is that some of the worst actors are in the for-profit medical space. Are in for-profit health insurance, big pharma, et cetera. And one of the worst companies, actually, is United Healthcare in this respect. United Healthcare is the largest health insurance company in the country. They are the largest employer of doctors and own thousands of pharmacies, clinics, surgery centers, and home health agencies, as well as hospice providers. Secretary Kennedy, are you aware that President Trump's Department of Justice is reportedly investigating United Healthcare for criminal insurance fraud in some of their for-profit health insurance plans, like Medicare Advantage?
I'm not aware of that investigation.
You are not aware that the Trump Department of Justice is investigating the largest insurance company in America that...
No, I'm not aware of...
For fraud in Medicare Advantage?
No, I'm not aware of that.
That you have jurisdiction over?
It doesn't surprise me.
Okay. In your submitted testimony, you said HHS takes seriously our role as responsible stewards of taxpayer dollars. Are you aware that for-profit insurance corporations like United Healthcare have been found to be defrauding public dollars of more than $80 billion a year?
I'm not aware of that number, but I'm aware that there's fraud across the for-profit sector.
Respectfully, Secretary Kennedy, if we're making decisions around waste, fraud, and abuse, this is the largest source of waste, fraud, and abuse of public dollars in the public insurance space.
Did you say $80 million?
$80 billion a year.
Did you say 80 million or 80 billion?
80 with a B. Billion.
With a B,
yeah. If that's the case, why did you nearly double the rate that taxpayer dollars give for-profit insurance companies like United next year if you don't know those things?
Double the rate? How did I do that?
So your agency nearly doubled the taxpayer dollars that for-profit insurance corporations like United will be paid next year, meaning these companies, the largest of whom is under investigation, criminal investigation by the Trump administration, will be receiving an additional $25 billion from your agency.
How is that happening?
I would be happy to submit to the congressional record evidence of this. I will enter the CMS press release from April 7th of 2025 into the record, which states that Medicare Advantage corporations will now receive a 5.06% increase in payments next year under your jurisdiction, Mr. Secretary.
Well,
this is up from 2.2%.
I mean, we're raising
Without
which was
objection.
proposed from the Biden administration. You are doubling the rate that the Biden...
The gentlelady's
these
time has
criminally
expired.
investigated companies.
The gentlelady's time has
receiving.
expired.
They are just such bad liars. They're just such bad liars. It's why there's so much deflection, why there's so much posturing, this projection from MAGA that they actually care. RFK Jr. is a perfect example. I don't think anyone has gone further in doing the opposite of what their claimed objective is, maybe except for Doge, than RFK, trying to make America healthy while we're defunding pediatric cancer research, while food stamps are being taken away from millions of Americans, Donald Trump actively stripping away health care. What part of this makes anyone healthy? RFK Jr. spends his time questioning settled science and bathing in swamps filled with chemicals instead of actually trying to talk about health, which he knows nothing about. And AOC made very clear it is staggering the level of corruption and incompetence we see. We know RFK is only in this role to benefit himself and to drive people to his pseudoscience that is a very successful business model for him, by the way. The anti-vax t-shirts and little kids' clothes that he sells on his website, yeah, those bank him a lot of bucks, but they don't help us. And RFK Jr. at some point kind of knows that. And it's why when he was grilled by Congresswoman DeGette, he was struggling. Take a look.
Judge William Young, a Reagan appointee, said that the administration's explanations for terminating the grants were, quote, bereft of reasoning virtually in their entirety, end quote. He added, quote, I've sat on this bench now for 40 years, and I've never seen government racial discrimination like this, end quote. Mr. Secretary, I have a yes or no question. Does the department intend to comply with Judge Young's ruling? Yes or no?
I will comply with
yes
the
or
law.
no, sir?
I'll comply with the law.
Thank you. As reported, in your opening statement, Mr. Secretary, you said that you're committed to reducing bureaucracy. But as reported in the Washington Post on April 17, 2025, HHS imposed a new layer of bureaucratic review by which every disbursement has to go through political appointments at HHS. Hospitals, universities, and community health organizations have told me and the other members lately that funds are stuck at HHS due to this so-called Defend the Spend initiative. I asked you about this in the April 23rd letter over 2 months ago, to which you have not responded, and I'd like some answers. Yes or no? Did HHS conduct a cost-benefit analysis on the Defend the Spend procedures?
I don't know anything
You
about
don't
that
know,
Washington
okay.
Post article.
In letters, you don't know whether you did a cost-benefit analysis, right?
I don't know. I know that. I don't
Okay.
know anything about that Washington Post article. I
No,
don't
do you
believe
know
it's
anything about the Defend the Spend initiative?
true. About what?
The Defend the Spend initiative that your agency has. You don't know about it. Mr. Chairman, I have an article here dated April 17, 2025 about the Defend the Spend initiative. I'd like unanimous consent to enter it into the
Without objection.
Now, in Mr. Secretary, on June 9th, hundreds of NIH scientists sounded the alarm on how this administration has wasted millions of research dollars, injected politics into science, and damaged the public trust. 68 Nobel laureates signed this letter. On June 10th, We sent you a letter. Of course, we haven't gotten a response with our concerns that you or your staff might retaliate against them for telling the truth. So here's my question. Will you commit today that neither you or anyone else at HHS will take any retaliatory action against the brave scientists that work at NIH? This should be an easy answer because it's illegal.
I can commit that we are absolutely depoliticizing science at
Will
NIH
you
for the
commit
first
that
time.
you will not take any
Biden
retaliation?
administration,
Excuse me.
Ms. Chairwoman, the Biden administration politicizes science, and I just gave you 3 of thousands of examples of how they did that.
Excuse me, sir. I asked you a simple question. Will you commit to not taking retaliatory action against the NIH scientists that signed the letter about the research dollars? Yes
I don't
or no?
know anything about that letter.
You don't know about the letter?
No,
okay.
I don't know anything about that letter. This is the
Okay,
first
well,
I've
we'll put
heard
that.
of it.
We already put that, our question in the record. I'd like a response. Now, in my last few minutes, in our letters dated February 28th, April 1st, and May 28th, to which you did not respond, we have some questions about reductions in force. How many HHS employees received RIF notices since you were sworn in?
I think around 10,000.
10,000. Did you personally approve those layoff decisions?
Of each one, I approved of the policy.
Thank you. You approved the policy. Your NIH director, Jay Bhattacharya, told employees, quote, I actually don't have any transparency into how those decisions were made, and I was quite upset about that. It would have been nice to have some say. I guess I'll follow up with more written questions, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The gentlelady yields.
This is exactly the type of fight that we need to be bringing to every single one of these hearings. You cannot let up. You also can't really ask hypotheticals. These need to be targeted questions. I saw someone say this about Trump the other day. Reporters asked Trump questions like, well, is there a possibility that we might maybe in the future? Were we involved? Did we do that? And Trump's responses are always, it's going to be great. It's going to be so big and potentially even better. And it's like, well, you have to press. And you have to keep pressing, and you can't let up. Do not give these people an inch because they will take a mile. This is the type of grilling that we need to see out of these hearings, and just make it abundantly clear to everyone as Donald Trump's presidency, as his whole administration continues to grow more unpopular, that these people are incompetent, they cause chaos, they make your life worse, they are an imposition on your freedom. That is what is so important. Their own incompetence is an imposition on your freedom. RFK Jr. making people less healthy, that makes you, your family, your friends, your community less free. And we got to speak in that language. We're certainly going to be doing so and calling them out on this show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around to the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.